we can try that. Hold on, let me send you the link.
Okay, cool. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So for today, I think since this is going to be an online class, we can start with a little bit. Everybody does an introduction. So I think me and Satyam already went. How about Arush? Now you can introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm like I love writing and I have some like very little coding experience. I know.
Yeah, without further ado, let's start the class.
Satyam, do you want me to screen share?
I can do it. It's fine.
Okay, sure.
So a little bit, as you guys know, Java is a programming language and it's very widely used. It's a great, it's one of the, I think it's one of the best languages to learn among like Python and C++. So yeah, I hope you guys find this class very valuable and you learn from it. So again, yeah, we're part of the FTC team, Bots and Bytes. And FTC stands for First Tech Challenge. And essentially it's just a robotics league that harvests STEM thinkers that are in high school and middle school.
Yeah, so in FTC robotics, what we do is we build robots and we program them using Java. So using those skills, we wanted to be able to teach you guys. So on the last day of this class, we're going to be talking a little bit more about First, and if you are interested, and we can help you form a team as well. So now let's get started.
Yeah. Another thing is we'll be recording these classes and we'll send you guys the link for them. So that way you guys can always refer back to those videos and catch up on anything you missed in case you don't make it to a class or want to review. So yeah.
Yeah, also these classes are going to be moving pretty fast because we're covering a good amount of material in only 6 classes. So if you have any questions, like please feel free to email us and we'll definitely get back to you, or if you need extra help, then we can help you. Cool. So now let's talk a little bit about the JVM and the Java compiler. So has anybody ever heard of these before?
I've heard of a compiler.
Okay, so what do you know about a compiler?
I think it basically compiles the program, and you have to a compiler doesn't need like an application. I'm not sure.
So yeah, I think that's a pretty good and decent explanation. So basically, you guys know how computers work, right? Computers work on bytecode, binary. The computer understands everything in terms of 1010, but we don't write code in terms of 1010, right? That would be way too hectic and way too time consuming to write code in binary. So what a Java virtual machine does is it takes, so whoever made Java basically created this compiler that said, when we use specific keywords inside Java, it converts it into a certain bytecode. And the computer can obviously understand that bytecode. So that's why the Java compiler is very important. Another thing is the JRE, Java Runtime Environment. So again, the people who made Java made it so very specific lines of code and very specific text can be converted into bytecode. Like you can't just write whatever you want, right? Otherwise coding wouldn't have been as difficult as it is. So that's why there's something called the Java Runtime Environment that checks that the code you've written is part of those key phrases. So there's different phrases that we're going to learn in Java that we use. So the Java runtime, the Java machine checks if what you've written is correct. That way the compiler can properly turn it into bytecode.
Does everybody understand so far? Any questions? Okay, cool. Let's move on to the Java compiler then. Satyam, do you want to go ahead?
So yeah, so essentially it's like the same thing we were talking about. So the Java compiler, it makes it so that the computer is able to understand what you've written. So like, again, converting that into the bytecode. So that's essentially what the Java virtual machine and compiler do together.
Yeah, so based on that, can anybody tell me why you think the Java compiler is so important when we're writing Java code?
The Java compiler is what makes the computer understand what you're trying to tell. Like if you write Java and just send and then make the computer do it, it won't understand what you're trying to do unless you have a compiler.
Yeah, that's true. Anything else? There's one major reason why the Java compiler is really important.
I think it's because it like allows you to like use it anywhere. Or
yes, that's true. Yeah. That too. Any other ideas? Okay, so what the Java compiler does is since it compiles it into its own Java file, it tells you if anything is going wrong in your program as well. So let's say you wrote something that's incorrect in terms of Java language, right? Then the Java compiler will be able to tell you that this isn't right. So that's really important for coders to use.
Yeah, all right, so let's move on. So yeah, this is just a diagram of how the JVM works. So Java source code is the source code that you and I write, the Java that we type.
Computer, yeah.
Yeah, the Java compiler takes it, makes sure that, like Rishi said, it checks whatever you've written is correct. Then it goes to the JVM. The JVM turns into bytecode, and then it gives it to the computer. That's the computer operating system, and the computer is able to execute whatever you have written. Yeah, so, okay.
So Java IDE, based on this image of IntelliJ, can anybody guess what an IDE is? Feel free to unmute yourselves, guys, no worries.
It's where you write the code. It's like, so I use a Python IDE, and from that I know that an IDE is where you can write lines of code, and it's where you it's like the JVM.
Yes.
It's not really like the JVM, but the first part, yeah, you got it right. So it's an application where you write the source code, where the user actually writes the code that they want the computer to interpret. So there's many types of IDEs. There's IntelliJ, there's BlueJ as well. So like if IntelliJ isn't working for you, then there's a lot more options that you can use as well.
So yeah, so these environments just make it easier for programmers like us to be able to write code. So basically, like when you're working in like very big projects, IntelliJ, for example, or any other IDE will like tell you things like, oh, you have an object here or a class here. So you could always just like, for example, every coder with every person with a computer could just write code straight into the command prompt. But it isn't very user friendly. It isn't very easy to write in that. Like over here in environments, you have like the different colors that show you the key phrases. So that's why we use these development environments. So it's easier for us to write code.
So for this class, it's going to be teaching the basics of Java. So writing in like command prompt directly like would work as well. But once you start writing more complex programs, it's not as easy or user friendly to do it that way. So that's why all of these IDEs are really useful to programmers.
Yeah.
Okay, classes and methods. So a class is a location in which you set the variables and where all of the methods in your program exist. So basically all of the methods, variables, and objects that are in your class can be accessed through the class. So basically, here's an example. If I have a class that has a method that allows me to print a star, and that method is called star, then if I import the class, I'll be able to use the star method in my code. So that's a lot. So let me break that down. So what it is basically a class contains things within it. In the class, you set variables. Does anyone know what variables are?
It's a container for like storing information, like you can assign a value to a certain variable.
Yes, that's correct. So there's things inside of a class such as methods, variables, objects, and because Java is an object-oriented programming language, everything is within the class. So at that point, if my class contains all of these functions that allow me to do X, Y, Z, for example, if my class has a method inside of it that allows me to print a star, and that method is called star, that if I import the class into my new program, then I get access to the star method in my code. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any questions?
Wait, is the star like the class that contains star? Is it in like a different like file, or is it in the same file?
So the class itself is separate, but the star method is within the separate class. So you don't have to import the method. You can't import the method. You would import the class that contains the method star, and at that point you get access to the method.
So it's like different programs, and then you can combine them by importing the class?
You don't really combine them, but you get access to material inside other classes by importing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so a bit more. So like yeah, so somebody was saying is in a different file. So sometimes, like for example, some classes are made by like people who created Java. So like Oracle, for example, they kind of have like the rights over Java. So they have actually made a lot of pre-made classes that we can use. So the best way I like to think about a class is that it's kind of like a blueprint. So a class is not something that in a code that you can tangibly do it. The same way like as like a blueprint for like a car or something, right? You can't really do anything with a blueprint, right? You can't actually drive with it. When you make the actual car is when you can actually do something with it. So classes contain all the instructions for an object. So for example, if like let's take an example of like a car exactly. So if I want to make a car, I would have a blueprint for it, and inside that blueprint I would put different attributes of it. So I'd put like wheels 4, and that's like different variable. Or if I put like something else like color black. So inside a class, I'd put all this information. Then I would actually make an object. So when I have the object, then I can change aspects of it. It's like let's say I wanted to change this car to have like a red color. So then once I make the object, I could say car color is equal to red. So it's a bit abstract right now, but it will make more sense when we use it in code.
Yeah, so right now I know it's all going to be like pretty confusing, but once we move forward, everything will start to make sense.
Yeah. And so a method is like Arshi was saying, it's essentially it's a function. So basically sometimes like let's say if I wanted to print something like 10 times, right? So if I wanted to say like if I wanted to print something 10 times, then instead of writing print 10 times, what I could do is I could put that print function into a method. And inside that method, I could say print this. And instead of writing print again and again, I could just write the method name. So again, I will, it'll make more sense when you're learning code, but this is just the abstract. So remember this, once we show you guys in code, I think it'll make more sense. So.
Yeah, so basically, just to shorten that little last part about a method, it's basically a function. You put something in, you get something out. So this method that we talk about in the example that's called star, all you do is you call the method star, and it allows you to print a star because that's what the function is doing.
Yeah.
So we can move on to the next slide. So in Java, how it works is there's only one method that actually runs. So the program is going to only run like one method on top that's called the main method. So the main method is where you write everything that you want the program to actually use. So let's say I have my star method, right? Let's go back to that example. If my star method is written and it says print a star, and that's all I have on my program, the Java code isn't going to do anything because I don't have anything written in my main method. So if in my main method, I say run the star method, then I will get a star. But if I just have star method, it won't work because the only part that the Java code actually uses is the main method. Does everyone understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions?
So like the star method, so it's like the coding environment is divided into multiple sections called methods, and then so you have like the star method in a different section, and the Java only reads stuff from the main method. So you have to mention the star method, and you have to tell the compiler to run the main method, run the star method in the main method, and then only it will read the star method.
Yeah, yeah. So it will still check the main method. I mean, it will still check the star methods. Like you have to write the method, right? So it'll check, okay, has everything you've written make sense? But it will only run the star method once you put it inside the main method. So yeah, you're correct. It'll only convert it into bytecode for the computer once you've converted, once you've put it into the main method. Otherwise, it won't run.
Yeah. So if we go back to like our idea of like method inside of classes, the star method still has to be written inside of your class, but the main method has to be like calling the star method. Does everyone get that?
Wait, is the method like are multiple methods like in a class, or are there
yeah. So so they're all like attributes of the class. So inside of the class you have XYZ things, right? You can have as many methods, as many variables, whatever you want inside of your class, but only the things you have in your main method are going to run. So let's say in my whole class, if my whole class is called First Java, right? And in my class I have two methods. I have my main method and my star method. I have to call the star method inside my main method. Does everyone get that?
Yeah.
So they're in the same class, but
yes. They don't have to be in the same class. Remember we talked about importing classes to get access to methods. So let's say the name of the class that has the star method is called Ritvik's Java class. Okay, and in my class, it's going to be called Arushi's Java class. I want access to the star method, but I don't want to have to rewrite that whole method again. So all I would do is I would import Ritvik's Java class, and then I can call in my main method run star method. Does everyone get that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, basically we want to do this code. So how many of you were actually able to get to the point where you're able to open IntelliJ?
Yeah, I got to the screen where it asks me to either create a new project, open or import, or get from version control.
Were you guys able to get to here?
Yeah,
Is everybody on here?
I got to your screen, except I don't have the leftmost part.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so this is all the stuff that I've previously created. So yeah, so if you guys are with me on this step, so you can follow along.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Has everybody gotten to this part? If you haven't, then like just unmute yourself and say something.
Oh, I have it. I'm not exactly on this part, but for me it doesn't say create new project anywhere.
Okay, Vidushi, do you want to share your screen? Wait, Satyam, unshare.
Okay.
Yeah, and our class time will stop in 10 minutes, so make sure you just leave the meeting and join right back, and it'll give us some more time.
Vidushi, do you want to share your screen so we can see?
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and if any of you aren't able to download it or have some problem, remember we will be giving you these videos, so you can always look back to it and just do the activities.
Mm-hmm. So everybody besides Ritvik, P, and Vidushi have their screen on IntelliJ the same way Satyam had it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
Charvi, you do or you don't?
I don't.
Okay. Do you want to share your screen after Vidushi? What's on your screen right now when you try to open IntelliJ?
It's. Oh wait, now I got it.
Okay, cool.
So
just Vidushi and Ritvik. Okay. Ritvik, are you on Windows or Mac?
Oh, Mac.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so just press just X out. So press X. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it'll bring you there. All right, cool. So everybody's there pretty much.
Ritvik, for now, Satyam, I don't have Mac. Do you know how to run command prompt on Mac?
Yeah. Terminal and then type But for Java, I think you need to download a separate package because
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
I would prefer you like follow along for now, and then once you have a chance to get the IDE, then you could like then you could you know, like do it yourself by watching the video. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody just create a new project. Yeah. So all of this stuff, you don't really need to care about it. Just need to make sure that this says Java, and we're gonna be on SDK 1.8. So SDK is just a software development kit, SDK, and it just has a bunch of like APIs and stuff that we use. So we're just gonna use 1.8. You don't have to worry about this too much until you get into like very like large and serious programming. So
Wait, Satyam, we can't see your screen. Are
oh,
you
sorry. Oh, you can't. Okay, sorry, my bad. Okay. What about now?
Oh, because before it was showing a different screen and I didn't understand what you were doing.
Oh, okay. So I just clicked. Okay. So okay, 1 second. I went to here. This.
I think we can't see it.
And I just clicked new project, create a new project, right?
So everyone click create new project.
And then it opens up a new tab, which will come to here. It'll bring you straight to this. Wait, I can just,
get that?
you know, let me just share my desktop here. Okay. So yeah, it just did this. So I clicked this, and then it just, were you guys able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you click new project.
Is everybody on here? Is everybody on the same page as Satya?
Yes.
If you're
Okay.
not, then unmute and say something.
I just don't have, instead of 1.8 SDK, it just shows no SDK. Is that fine?
It shows no SDK.
Same for me.
Same for me too.
Okay, I think for now it should be fine. If we have some problem, we'll download the SDK, but I don't think you guys should because you just downloaded it. It probably by default already has the SDKs in it. So yeah, just click next. So don't really change anything here. Just click next. And then from this, we can use a template. So this will kind of just start you off. So select created.
Satyam, I have a question. For mine, it's saying no SDK specified. An SDK is required for compiling, debugging, and running applications, as well as for standard SDK.
Satyam, I think we should use BlueJ.
So the thing is, the SDK is required for compiling applications, but right now, because we're not making applications, it'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Because right now we're just executing classes and codes. So when you create an actual application and you import it into things, that's why you need it. But because we're not reaching that like complex level, we don't need it. So was everybody able to? So just click next from here and create project
Java.
from.
Like the Java Hello World template.
My server is not it isn't working.
What isn't working?
Your server?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you see on your screen when you clicked next originally?
Can you share your screen?
It just went out.
Just share your screen.
1 minute.
Yeah.
I don't see the template. It just says command.
I think I have the same problem. It doesn't say the hello world or that other template. It only says command line app.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't say anything else.
Okay.
Okay, so for today, how about for the parts that say like that we were gonna write code in, I'll share my screen and then I'll show you guys how to write the code. And then that'll be part of the video and you guys can watch it later and then try it on your own.
Yeah, guys, just don't select template. This is all like just like random stuff that like you guys don't really need to program it. So I think if you just keep clicking next, and then if you select a project name, it'll be fine. It'll open a page.
Okay, yeah. I think for now, let's just move on with the class, and I'll just share my screen on how we would write the code for the parts where you guys were supposed to write it. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, cool. So the next part, what we were going to do is we were going to do a pop quiz where we were going to write a main method on printing a star using a star method. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen really quick. Sharby, can you unshare your screen?
Guys, the meeting time will run out in like a minute, so just come back in the meeting.
Okay, so should we all drop out?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, I'll drop